Warning, this podcast contains mature content and spoilers. Additional trigger warnings for mentions of suicide, sexual assault, the consumption of alcohol, and the sounds of drinking said alcohol.
We did it!
We're doing it!
We've done that like 4 times.
Yeah.
And I came in wrong on every single one and did too many beats on every single one. But I think that was our best take.
I think that was our best take too. It's fine.
I think that came out a lot better.
Can you tell I've listened to that song so many times?
It's so good.
It's so good.
It. Creepy Nuts, underrated. Well, maybe not so much anymore because now a lot more people know about them.
Yeah.
But they have other good songs too.
Yeah. Like, if you haven't gotten into Creepy Nuts yet, what are you doing?
No,
listen to this first, and then go listen to Creepy Nuts. Like,
they're good. They're bouncy, they're fun, little jazzy.
Yeah, bit of funk.
Bit of funk. Yeah, there you go. Bit of funk. It's good.
They're so good today, y'all.
I'm so excited.
We're so excited.
We've been texting back and forth about like, okay, when are we gonna do DanDaDan? Because we want to do this ASAP. We were supposed to finish Delicious in Dungeon today. But we were so excited. We were like, okay, no, let's just do DanDaDan.
Ready to blow. Like, we were the scene of Momo and Okarun just being like, I want to talk to Miss Ayase about
I want to talk to Okarun.
Yeah, that's been our lives.
That's
lately.
been us. We've been like, we want to do it.
So here we are. We are covering DanDaDan.
DanDaDan.
Oh,
so good.
What could we say about DanDaDan? My first 3 notes.
Yeah.
Perfection. Cinema. 10 out of 10. That's DanDaDan.
Agree. I would say innovative. Unique.
Yes.
And well done.
Yeah.
I would say.
Oh, it's so sweet. It's so well done. I know it's a contradiction for me to say this, but in my opinion, this is objectively the best anime of 2024.
Of the new ones, I would say so. I would say this beats out Delicious in Dungeon for me, as well as the other ones that I've been dabbling into. I've also been watching Sakamoto, which it's been really hit or miss for a lot of people. I don't know if you've seen that one yet.
I started watching a bit of the first episode.
Okay.
But
yeah,
it was mainly while I had a cold and I needed just something, and I ended up landing on Spy Family, so I've watched all of Spy Family.
Oh, now. Spy Family is good too. That's a really popular one. Yeah, very cute.
I don't think that's 2024 though. If we're gonna go into 2024.
Yeah.
Again, objectively, DanDaDan is the best of 2024. Turbo Grand came running in for that award, and she was like, "Suck my tits, you slow ass bitches!" Like just.
And we had no choice but to give the award to her, because what are you gonna say no to Turbo Grand?
Yeah, you can't say no to Turbo Grand. Oh my gosh. This show.
It's so good. It's so good.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Might need to start just
get into it.
Getting into it. Get the notes out.
Okay. Should we do sad girl rating?
Yeah.
Before anything.
So, as I said, overall a rating 10 out of 10.
Oh yeah.
Fight me.
We will fight you.
Yeah. We will fight you. And then going into our sad girl rating, which, just to go over that again, we are a tier system, TEAR. So literal tiers.
Little tiers, sad girl tiers.
There is 1 to 4 tiers, which DanDaDan is 4 tiers alone on the infamous episode 7.
Oh god. And it hits you like a truck.
Oh yeah.
Like you're not expecting anything, and then all of a sudden, boom. And you're like, oh my god, wait, I'm crying? What is happening? Yeah. So
4 tiers alone.
On episode 7.
I
think that could literally, it's like, like that little cinema clip they had?
Oh yeah.
That could be its own separate thing. Like that didn't even need to be in a show or anything. That's its own complete story beginning to end.
Beautiful. it is
gorgeous.
cinematic.
Mm-hmm.
However, again, it's 4 tiers on that alone.
Oh, yeah.
However, we need to consider the height of animation, storytelling, the use of music in this, which, we're going to get into. I'm going to get into. So, keeping all of that in mind, again, it's 1 to 4 tiers, and then DanDaDan, it hits our highest rating. It deserves it. Mm-hmm. This is an honorary tissue box.
Oh, yeah. I would agree. Just with episode 7 alone is a tissue box for me.
Yeah.
The rest of the show, I would say it's fantastic. Not very tear-jerky for me, though. It's so fun and well done and different, and I love this show so much. But really, only episode 7 was a tissue box for me, personally. Yeah. The rest of the show, I would say, in like a sad girl scale, like a 1. Because it isn't a very tear-jerky. But I do agree, overall rating of the show, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
All the way. 10 out of 10.
Like, it just gets the highest act.
It
deserves it.
It does. It's so good.
It deserves it. Okay. So, gonna get into why, and we're gonna start listing off the names. If you've had stock in videos and little clips of like pronunciation of names, you're welcome. I've heightened that for you all. I've really looked into it, so apologies up front if I get anyone's names incorrect, but I have really worked on it. Starting with our creator of DanDaDan, Yukinobu Tatsu. Now, he is the mangaist, the writer of it. My understanding is, in some interviews, he did a lot of the drawing before kind of the storytelling of it. And it just, I don't know, here is how obsessed I've become with this show. Watched it all. Fantastic. Got Tom into watching it. Fantastic. We then got the Shonen Jump subscription so we could read all of DanDaDan, which this started 2021, again, as the manga, by Yukinobu Tatsu. And, oh my gosh, I'm so glad this got picked up. It's just so good. So good. Read through all the manga. I'm currently in my point of the obsession where I am super into the music. But anyway, starting with that, Yukinobu Tatsu, manga is the creator. We love him. Little thing, want to talk about that too within interviews. And I remember we were generally talking about it. This was before Kaneki watched it. And Tom and I were talking to Kaneki about this.
Oh, right.
And Tom had brought up, like, Tatsu wears a mask in all of his interviews. And I fist pumped in there, like, yeah. I don't need to know much more about you, Tatsu. Like, you're just a great mangaist writer.
Yeah.
I love this series. I cannot wait to see where this goes and what's done with it. Just, my man, do what you're gonna do.
Absolutely.
You're the expert.
Yeah.
Love you.
I gotta love the general separation of the artist from the art in terms of, like, we don't know every single little thing about this creator's life.
Don't need to.
We don't need to. And I feel like that's such a thing here, and we've talked about it before, but I'm gonna bring it up again. I hate how it's such a thing here in the States, as well as, like, other countries, like, just when there's big celebrities that create some art form, whether they're an actor or a musician or anything like that, they become inseparable from their art form to the point where it's so easy for them, because they're human, they're going to make mistakes. They trip up, make a mistake in their personal life, and then everybody's like, oh, cancel them completely, we're not listening to anything they do anymore, burn your CDs, and I don't know who has CDs anymore, but, you know. And
we need to go back.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, but, like, I don't know, I feel like we should be able to enjoy art without having to put on the weight of that person with it. I don't really know if I'm making any sense.
No, you are to me.
Oh, good. Okay.
Like, because again, we've talked about this in just in general in, like, the manga anime sphere. You don't get a lot about the creators, and I don't mind that. I like that. It's like that. I get to just objectively see you as an artist and how much I enjoy your art. And that's all I want. I don't need to know all the details about you.
No. I don't need paparazzi to follow you 24/7, giving me updates on what outfit you wore to go to the grocery store. I don't need that.
No, don't. And especially, like, Tatsu is on a bit of a break right now from the manga getting all the... let my man take a break. Yeah. Let him cook. Let him write what he's going to write.
He deserves it. Let him do his thing.
Let him do what he's going to do. Anyway. Going into just, again, getting into this, we had the creation as we started with our little opening. The opening.
Oh my god. Perfection. Top second one, I would say, all-time opening for me. My first all-time favorite will still be, again, by Yui in the first opening of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. And maybe that's a bit of nostalgia playing into it, because I believe that was the second or third anime that I ever watched. So maybe that plays into it, why that's my absolute favorite intro. But that isn't a lot of, like, people's top favorite ones anyway, so I think it is objectively good. DanDaDan is now my number 2.
Yeah, it
is so good.
So good. I have a bit of the same for the same reason. If you're gonna make me choose favorites, Mob Psycho season 1 opening, and it is because even though that is a newer show, there is something so nostalgic about the animation style and the storytelling in that. But again, objectively, this is like one of the best openings ever of an anime.
It's so good. Just the poppy art style, the music, the song choice was so perfect.
Yes,
it's perfection.
So the song, if you again have been like me, because I've gotten into the music, got real into Creepy Nuts. So this song is Otonoke. It is performed by Creepy Nuts, fantastic group. Again, what are you doing if you haven't gotten to Creepy Nuts? Listen to this and then go listen to a bunch of Creepy Nuts.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so good. But it is composed by DJ Matsunaga, and the lyricist is Ora Shete. I love these people. Thank you. Thank you for this song. This has been a beat. Yeah. It's a jam.
It's a bop.
And then
it's a bop.
It's a bop. Let alone the animation in this show in general, but just the opening.
Yeah. Well, from the get-go, you can tell, oh, this is different. This is different, and this is fun. And it's wacky. It's wacky, and I like it.
It's fun. And, of course, like, anime openings, they're meant to tell you what's going to happen within that first season.
Oh, yeah.
And this does it in such a refreshing way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I always love it in anime openings too, when it's very primary colors, or you're only getting solids of one color, like as you get introduced to characters. And this does it perfectly.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like it didn't give away everything in the intro, because I think that's a really easy thing for anime intros to do, is to just kind of give away way too much. Especially for me.
Sorry.
Just knock the computer.
I'm gonna knock everything over.
But especially with me, because I have a tendency to really easily predict what's going to be happening in the show. So if the intro gives just a little bit too much, it can ruin the show a bit for me. DanDaDan, I feel like, gave me just enough where it's like, okay, so these characters are going to be coming into play, but it doesn't really tell you what's going to happen. It's just like the funky little dancing, and then the characters, and I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm so excited. These characters look fun. It's not telling me what's going to happen, but I'm getting a vibe. Yeah. This is good. This is peak. It's good.
Peak everything.
For real.
And to get into that, peak animation again, this is... and it seems to have been confirmed that they're going to be sticking with the same animation for season 2, which...
Thank God.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to using different animation studios for different seasons. I think it does add, like, a new flavor. It shows you a development. But this animation studio, Science Sorrow, like... Oh, I do hope it stays with them.
Yeah. I hope it does as well. I I'm personally a little against switching animation studios partway through a series. Maybe that's me being autistic, that I really dislike change.
It's
like,
fair.
I have a really difficult, like, I just got a new Magic deck the other day, and I was playing it, and I found myself getting, like, super irritated and angry, and I'm like, why am I so pissed off? I spent money on this. I wanted this. And I'm playing, and I'm like, oh, it's because it's different from the deck I always play, so that's why I'm getting, like, pissed off.
It's
and
fair.
it's the same with anime. If they change the studio, if they change something big in it, or something noticeable, it pisses me off.
No.
It makes me unreasonably angry to the point where I just won't watch it. Like One Piece, or not One Piece, oh my gosh, One Punch Man.
Mm-hmm.
I have not watched the next season because it's a different studio. I don't like it.
I will say that the art style does change.
It changes a lot.
Yeah.
And even if they change voice actors, I also don't like it. Like with Psyche K, they did like another Psyche K one. I was like, oh my god, Psyche K, because Psyche K is one of my favorite animes, and I went to watch it because I'm excited, because oh my god, I love Psyche K. I watched it over and over in dub and the sub.
Mm-hmm.
Their voice actors are so ingrained into those roles for me. And then I watched like 2 seconds of the new one, and I was like, what the fuck is this? No.
No.
And I turned the TV off, and I'm like, absolutely not.
We're not doing
We're not doing that.
Again, I hope it does just throughout stay with Science Saru.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm mostly familiar with Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, or Scott Pilgrim versus the World Takes Off. That was like a new animated version of the story that we at least know from the movie that was made, and it uses all of the same actors as the voice actors. But that was something once Tom and I had finished DanDaDan, we're like, there's no more DanDaDan. I did start to show him that, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can definitely see, even though they're such different artistic styles, I can see how, like, they're similar. And the thing with Science Saru that I at least see is they have movement down to a T.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and that's, I was watching a little interview with one of the directors, the head director of animation with Science Saru, and he does mention that, like, a lot of it is trying to get the movement correct, and they have it.
Oh, yeah. It's good.
They have it.
It's good.
It is so good, and with that, too, definitely need, because you'll see her name in the credits. I imagine that she was part of what greenlit this being made. In Young Choi, who she is the CEO, she's South Korean animator. She's the CEO of Science Saru. So if that is what happened, again, I imagine she would be the one to greenlight this. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh my god. Thank you.
So great, so great. And then getting into that, so directed by Fugua Yamashiro and Abel Gangora. Just thank you all for the work that you did.
Oh, love it.
Thank you all for the work that you did, and just, I'll go into my little thing in a bit when we actually do get into the music. Overall, everything for the anime, it's written by Hiroshi Seko. So again, thank you. Thank you for your work here. So to our English translation, the primary translator, and this is for the manga mostly, but of course this plays into what we know. Kumar Siva Sabra Manina. Thank you. Or should I actually say, thank you?
Oh my god.
I don't want to talk about the manga too much in this, because especially I don't want to spoil anything for you, Kaneki. That is a reoccurring theme. It's something that you'll notice when one of our characters comes into play. He always says, thank you.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
Not thank you.
I thought you were doing like an accent.
Nope. That's where it comes from.
Okay.
That's where it comes from. And then to get into who is the studio that does the English dubbing, Bang Zoom Studios. They produce the English dubbing of this.
Love it. They did a fantastic job. Because I did watch it in dub, and very enjoyable. Fantastic job. I think they fit the characters beautifully.
So, and that brings into where just got to bring up Abby Trop does the voice of Momo. AJ Buckles does the voice of Okaron, aka Tenkakura.
Kentakakura.
Kentakura.
Oh my gosh.
And it's not that the Japanese voice actors, so Shion Wakayama and Natsuki Hane, it's not that they don't deserve the accolades too. It's just, if you are a native English speaker, or if you are learning English and you want to get a grasp of especially slang, you have to watch it in the dub.
Yeah.
It hits so much different to where my note on this is this slang used in the English dub, it hits a level of teen speak that I have only ever seen in a Diablo Cody movie.
Yeah, well, in the sub, I did go back and watch certain parts in the sub because I wanted to see what kind of Japanese slang they were using. And they used a lot of Japanese slang in it too. So I'm so happy that translated into the dub.
So well. So well. Like, and just in case that name that I just said doesn't spark anything for you. So Juno, Jennifer's Body, most recently Lisa Frankenstein. Like, it does hit this whole universe. If it wasn't for the smartphones, it could be set anyone from the 90s to now. Oh yeah. It
is just ambiguous enough that it really could be anywhere in there.
It's just so good. I know I'm going to resort to that. It's fantastic. It does hit. This is an honorary tissue box because it hits just so many levels of perfection. I would not change a single thing about this. Like,
honestly, I would agree. Which is rare for me to not want to change anything because normally there's like a thing or two. But this has just been great the whole way through.
I think that, and I really hope this, everyone had so much fun making this that it shows.
Yeah.
And then getting to my last little shout out, the music by Kensuke Yoshiro, that should be a big name to you. Just look him up. He's done a lot. He's a big name. But I'm to the point of my DanDaDan obsession. I have gotten into the soundtrack. I listen to various songs at least once daily, if not more. And with Yoshiro, he is primarily a pianist and electronic music player. It shows. It shows in this soundtrack. So excited. Okay. Got our accolades. We'll keep on going back to these people too. Shout out all of that. But first, to start with, today is a celebratory day.
Absolutely. We're doing like our favorite one.
Doing our favorite, our DanDaDan. And two, this is our first technical shonen that we're covering.
Yeah, technically it is a shonen, yeah.
Yeah. Does not feel like a shonen. No.
For me, shonens are a lot more of the stereotypical Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, Bleach. The ones that just... Naruto, the ones that just go on for freaking ages and never end. And you can tell just by watching a tiny part of it that it is very much geared towards a male audience. That to me is like shonen. But this isn't Shonen Jump, so it's technically a shonen. And it does have a lot of the markers of a shonen. So it is technically one. But it doesn't feel like one, and I love that.
I do, and I think that's the perfect segue into starting. Why does this not feel like a typical shonen? We start with our female protagonist.
Yeah. Momo Ayase. Love her. The very first opening, I think, was the perfect introductory moment for her.
Oh, yeah.
Of her spitfire personality against this jackass dude.
Yeah. This jackass dude who is her first boyfriend.
Was it her first boyfriend?
It's her first boyfriend.
Oh, it was her first one? I didn't know it was her first one. Okay.
Yeah, it's her first boyfriend. And he's like, I'll take you on a date, but you gotta pay for it.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, he's a real
Because he has no money.
He has no money.
He's a
But
bum.
then he criticizes Momo for not having money.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we see the spitfire of her going to kick him.
Mm-hmm. Well, didn't he basically tell her, well, you need to put out, or else this isn't gonna work?
Yeah. Ew.
Yeah, ew.
And he wants her to pay for the Love Hotel.
You want... What? Which, like, hey, I'm all for gender equality, but for anyone to be like, well, I'm not gonna do this if you're not gonna give me sex or anything like that, then, ew, that's not okay for anybody to be doing. Mm-mm.
It's gross.
It's gross.
And again, she goes to kick him.
Mm-hmm.
And then, not to like, but unfortunately, like, she's a small bitty thing.
She is small, yeah.
And this is a very gruff dude that she's kicking. So then he, like, throws her down to the ground. He's like, what? You're gonna kick my ass? Man, I'm through with you. And then poor Momo's trying to insult them and can only throw out seafood.
Which apparently it's a common insult in slang in Japanese. I was reading online that everything that she was calling him in English is actually like a slang term in Japanese. So I was like, oh, that's interesting that they kept it in there as specific seafood things instead of translating it to another similar slang term.
Which I do love.
It was fun.
It's so fun. Again, like, this is fun.
Yeah, it's so fun. I was like, oh, those are some interesting insults. I'm glad they kept them.
I am too. And then this brings in, again, this is a celebratory day.
Yes.
So we got some fun drinky drinks.
Mm-hmm. Which, by the time this episode's out, you should have seen our pictures on our socials. We're going to put them on there. But which do you want to start with?
Well, we got to start with the Momo Ayase.
Oh, of course.
We have to. Momo, and and we'll get into it, but the inspiration for this drink was me realizing, oh, I'm a Momo. And if you can tell by my voice, I'm not saying that in a cute way.
It's in a not so good way.
But we still love Momo. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so that's inspired by that. We know with Momo, once she comes of drinking age, this girl's getting white girl wasted.
Oh, absolutely.
So, what better encapsulates that than a little vodka and Red Bull? However, you need a specific Red Bull for this. You want the winter edition vanilla iced berry. Or iced vanilla berry. I can't remember. I probably should have brought the can in here, but whatever.
Just check our socials. We put the picture on there. It has what we mixed in there, so.
You'll see it in there, and you'll see too on the social. The reason why you need this specific Red Bull is it is the blue color of Momo's spirit hands, like her ghost hands.
Oh, it's pretty dang close to what her spirit hand color is.
Yeah.
Which I haven't tried this yet. Let's try it. Let's try it. Okay. Oh, it smells so good.
Right, and it's very, like, the flavor and the smell is very much like that teen girl body splash type
of... This smells exactly like a candy. Like, I can't remember the specific one, but it's there.
Yeah. It smells like blue raspberry, but you're going to tell it doesn't taste like that.
Okay, well, let's try it. Let's see. Whoa. I dig it. Mm-hmm. That's...
Red Bull and vodka. Again, this is a white girl wasted type of drink.
Oh, absolutely.
I love a Red Bull and vodka.
Like, it tastes a little alcoholic, but it's not super strong. Mm-mm. It smells delicious. It smells so good.
This is a very coveted flavor for me, and I prefer the sugar-free versions of all of them. Mm-hmm. So you bet your bottom dollar I snapped up the last 4 from the store the other day. Oh, just...
No, that is delicious. I love that.
So that is the first part of the Momo Ayase now. I have a little addition here. It was originally going to be a peach White Claw, because again, white girl wasted.
Yeah, come on.
my store had a new, very interesting peach sake. Mm-hmm. Because again, when you're getting white girl waist, you can't just have your drink. You gotta have something else on the side.
That's true.
This is also an ode to, I'm in my DanDaDan session that I love this music. The song Slice of Peach, which I listen to at least once a day. So this is a beautiful peach sake that we have off to the side too. And it's our introduction song.
To Momo Ayase.
Momo Ayase.
So perfect. And it goes down so smooth. Like, we already drank a little bit of it because we were excited.
Yeah. Had to try it.
There's the last of it. Oh, that was so good.
It's just so good. Again, we'll post it so that way you can see. Talking to the person, I was like, this is very interesting at the store, and it's just like a newer brand of a brewery that was put out. So we'll post it. Hopefully you try it. It's good. It's smooth. It's sweet.
It's a little sweet. It's very, very smooth. Goes down super easy.
And you can definitely taste that nice little peachy flavor.
Yes, and it smells really good too.
I love a slice of peach. That's like my favorite song right now. It is a bop. Yeah, it's like our introduction song. Well, this is actually the opening and closing song to the first episode.
Oh, was it?
Perfect.
Oh my gosh, perfect. Oh, I keep smelling the cup. Like, I already finished it, but it smells so delicious. So good.
So there's our Momo Ayase. And do we want to talk a little bit more into the episode before we get to our second drink, or do we want to just do it now?
We can... I don't know.
As we introduce our characters, or do we just do it now?
I think we can use the drink to talk about the character a little bit.
Go. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So, later in the episode, Momo Ayase has a little... Well, okay, so she's talking with her friends, and then she's pissed off about, the whole boyfriend situation.
Yeah. Her first boyfriend ever just broke up with her.
Who isn't gonna be upset about that?
Yeah.
She's kind of angry,
Yeah. And her one little cute friend who has the whole ghetto makeup and everything going.
Oh my gosh, I gotta talk about that. Yeah. I've been so excited.
Let me introduce you to our fashion expert.
Oh, okay, you're flattering me. You're flattering me.
Oh, I've been so excited to hear you go into this too.
Gosh. I'm so excited. Put the drinks on pause.
Yep.
Okay, so gyaru. One of my favorite subculture fashions from Japan. Gyaru was a fashion that started in around the 70s, I want to say. My timing could be a little off, but I would say that's mostly when we started to see it become more of a thing. And it did start with the more of the darker tone, skin tone of gyaru. So gyaru traditionally is tan, dark skin, really bright eyes, thick lashes, big poofy hair, and from there it started, splitting off into other subsections of gyaru, which that happens with a lot of fashion. People will break off, make their own spin on it, and then that becomes its own little subsection. Nowadays, ganguro gyaru is what we use to describe any of the subsets that have the traditional darker skin of gyaru, and a lot of them will also have like the white paint on their face or white makeup, which Momo's friend, who we see in this first episode, and she's with them in the classroom, is Muko. Muko is under that umbrella of... Oh my gosh, I just slapped the microphone.
It's okay.
I'm so excited about this. But Muko, she falls under that umbrella of Ganguro Gyaru. Oh, another fun thing about Gyaru, totally forgot about it, Gyaru comes from the word gal, because it was traditionally like a feminist counterculture to the strict beauty standards of Japan, which it still is today. Gyaru is still around, which I've actually seen it resurge a bit, which I'll get into that again in a second. But it started as ga, like, gal power, girl power type thing. And then Japanese have a difficult time with pronouncing the letter L, so it became garu, gyaru. That's how we get gyaru over time. Very fun. Love that little fact. And gyaru really became really big in the 90s and early 2000s. So you'll see a lot of gyaru fashion. That fashion in that era is baked into gyaru girlies. Like, they will have the like juicy couture stuff going on. They'll have the low rise, they'll have the little tops, they'll have furs, you know. Animal prints are huge in gyaru. Like, a lot of animal prints and mixing stuff like that, very popular. Another big thing in gyaru is giant decorated nails is another big thing in gyaru. And it's just so fun. And so her friend, Muko, she's a gyaru.
Yes.
But here's another fun fact. Miss Ayase is also a gyaru. She is the subset of Kogal gyaru.
Yes.
Kogal means young gyaru. Ko means child in Japanese, so it's literally just means child. Gal for gyaru, so just, you know, Kogal gyaru. She is a young gyaru.
She references herself as gyaru too.
She does, yeah. So we have that confirmed, but it's pretty obvious because the style that she has from the get-go is she's wearing the pink cardigan, short skirt, the leg warmers or big socks, and her little school shoes. With Kogal gyarus, it literally just means that you are a young person who has to wear your uniform, but you still want to be gyaru. So you're kind of adding some things here and there to try and make it more gyaru.
Get some
and
flair.
It's a common misconception. A lot of people think like, well, if I just wear exactly what a lot of Kogal gyarus wear, then I'm now Kogal gyaru. That's I'm sorry. That's
no, we're too old for that.
You're too old for that. You're still gyaru, but you're not a Kogal gyaru because by definition, ko means child. Like, that is, you are a young high schooler or even younger. There's even chibi gyaru. Chibi gyaru are like little kids, and they're so cute.
Oh, I could only imagine.
Look it up. They look adorable. They're just like little kid gyarus, and they're so cute. They're adorable.
Oh my god.
It's so cute.
This is so fun.
So technically, both of them are Kogal gyarus because they're both just, you know, young high school gyarus. But her friend is, because she has the darker skin and more of the, like, white makeup, she does fall under the other umbrella of Ganguro gyaru as well. So fun. I love it.
And again, this is why the Momo Ayase is a Red Bull and vodka with a shot.
Yeah.
Going back into that, like, 90s, 2000s. This is why that was picked.
Yes.
Anyway, they're talking.
Yep.
Momo is distraught. And her friends even ask, it's like, why did you even date that guy anyway?
Yeah.
And Momo's response, because he looked like Tenkakakura.
Fair, honestly.
Yeah, fair. Watched a few videos. I did want to watch more of, like, a Tenkakakura movie before we covered this, but again, we were going to explode.
Yeah, we're like, we have to talk about this now.
We have to talk about it, but yeah, you see it. I can see it, Momo. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, fair. I do not blame you, girl. He's a type. Ken Takakura is a type.
He's
and he is a type for a lot of people, too.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, you pick a shitty boyfriend just because he looks like Ken Takakura. Again,
classic.
The Red Bull with vodka.
Classic first boyfriend behavior, honestly.
Yep.
I don't know, who was your first boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever?
Like actual, or are we talking like crush?
Like actual.
Oh, it was high school sweetheart. As you can tell, I have some apprehension there, being like high school sweetheart. Not the best choice. It was just more so like, okay, this is the first guy that's kind of giving me the time of day. And there are definitely red flags now. And I'm like, gosh, I should have ended that relationship so much sooner than I did. Oh,
but that's classic young, being young. That's so, you know.
Oh my gosh. I'm just going to go into a little thing. So, Tom and I the other, because it was Valentine's Day, we went out at our thing, all of that, and we were talking about exes during Valentine's Day.
Why not? It's the day to do it.
Yeah, and like how we got here, and I was talking about in a sense, my poor ex, but this shows you kind of the maturity levels that I had versus he had. Talking about my poor ex, and like, I got to a point where I was taking care of just like pretty much everything, and it was too much, and I was in a job that, I apologize, trigger warning for suicide here, it was I have to quit this job or I'm going to kill myself. That type of situation.
Got to that point.
Again, we are sad girls in anime. This is going to be tough.
We call ourselves this for good reason, guys.
Yeah. But anyway, and just being like, okay, I had to quit my job. I essentially moved out of the apartment, and I'm like, I'm going to go move in with my family. I'm going to be helping them with certain things so that way I can start to get money because I no longer had my job. Because either work myself to death or live, one of the two.
You gotta pick. You can't have both.
But anyway, my ex, his poor friends, which they were mutual friends, but having to be like, dude, she's not coming back.
Did you just kind of like ghost him, or?
No, I didn't ghost him. It was just like my initial, I didn't want to break up right then.
Oh, okay.
Like, I knew that that's where it was going, but I'm just like, I'm moving out. I need to figure things out, get it together. And he thought I was going to come back.
Oh.
And his poor friends mean she's not coming back, too.
Oh, the poor guy. I see now why you say poor ex.
Yep. Okay, now that I've got it to mind, what's yours, Kaneki?
So, my first... Okay, so technically, my first was this girl in junior high. And we dated for like 2 weeks. Because then she... Okay, me being autistic, I'm not very good at social interactions. So her mom came to, like, pick her up at school, and then she was like, I want you to meet my mom, you know, like, I want her to like you and all of that. So me, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm running through the social criteria of, like, what you do when you meet someone's parents.
Yes.
And something I saw online everywhere is like, okay, well, you gotta be really personable, and you have to, like, shake their hand and call them by, like, their Mr. or Mrs., you know, be respectful and everything. Okay, well, what I didn't know is that she had just gone to the spa for her hands. And so she had her hands, like, kind of like this, which it's like her hands, like, in front of her, kind of crossed a little bit. Just her hands, though, not her arms. And I remember looking at her hands and thinking, wow, those look super soft. And then I immediately reached out and grabbed her hand without her offering her hands to me.
I love picturing little Kaneki in this.
Oh my gosh, I was so nervous. I was like, oh, okay, I have to do them. Like, I have this checklist in my head of like, okay, I have to do this, you know, to make sure this goes well. And then, you know, first thing I do is I reach out and grab her hand and shake it. And she just kind of stands there, and then I let go of her hand, and she very, like, slowly takes it back. And then in my head, I'm like, oh no, I messed up. And then she broke up with me, like, a couple days later.
You literally were just doing your best.
I was doing my best, guys.
If it makes you feel any better, trust me, my ex's parents hated me way more than your middle school girlfriend.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd really count that as a girlfriend, because we did, honestly, it was 2 weeks. We didn't go on a single date, really. We just called ourselves girlfriends, you know? Honestly, what I would count as my real girlfriend was this girl. I had a crush on her for, like, ages. She was actually the one that introduced me to anime. And she got me into cosplay and everything, because she loved doing panels. And so she would set up panels. I would go to support her. Then I started getting into cosplay. Then she would set up panels for me. So I did, like, Black Butler. I did Orin High School Host Club. I did a bunch of those types of panels. Which, that was an era of, like, the Truth or Dare Q&A panels. It's a little cringe, but I had fun doing it.
It was an era.
It was an era.
And
it was a lot of fun in cosplay. I don't see it too often nowadays, but back then, that was, like, a huge thing. Loved doing that. So much fun. And then eventually she, you know, confessed, like, oh, you know, I like you back. And I'm like, oh, finally, because I had a crush on her for, like, several years. I was head over heels for this girl. Completely head over heels for this girl. We dated for a couple months, and then she moved to Ohio. And, you know, things just kind of fizzled out from there. I was heartbroken. Little me was heartbroken. Because she was great. She was so fun. But I just hope she's doing well. We didn't end on, like, bad terms or anything, but I just hope, you know, she's doing well.
Life happens. Your parents make you move.
Parents make you move,
Yeah.
Not much you can do about that when you're a kid, isn't it? It's like, well, we're moving now. Okay. Well,
that's it.
Yeah, that's it. What are you gonna do?
You really can't do much other than, like, be online, but that...
Yeah.
Long distance, I've not had to do it. I could only imagine.
Oh,
how difficult.
Long distance seems like it'd be pretty difficult.
Yeah.
Kudos to anyone that can do that.
Yeah. We're rooting for you.
Yeah, we're rooting for you. You got this.
Yes.
We believe in you.
We believe in you.
Yeah.
Love knows no bounds. Oh my gosh. I think that's perfect segueing into getting into Momo's been broken up with. Mm-hmm. She is distraught.
That first heartbreak.
Mm-hmm. Her friends are like, there's no strong silent types like Ken Takakura anymore. No man like that exists.
They're just not around.
Momo's literally trudging through the hallways after this, and she's like, I'm just asking for a Ken Takakura type. That's not too much. And then she sees in the class next to her, it's not her class.
She's just like walking past.
Yeah. She sees this kid getting papers and stuff thrown at him. There's a bunch of bullies around him. He has the big round glasses. He has
just a little nerdy
favorite.
kid.
Yeah, just a little nerdy kid. My favorite, the little bowl haircut.
Yes.
I love it. Mm-hmm. There is a boy on the spectrum with a bowl haircut that lives in my heart. I love these characters so much.
I love it.
I'm like, I just relate. Anyway, so we see him getting bullied, and then one of these bullies starts to put a magnet in a piece of paper he's going to throw at him. He's going to be like, oh, that's going to hurt. And then Momo pulls the most killer move ever. Mm-hmm. Actually, she pulls multiple throughout the series, but this is one of those.
This is a good one.
This is a good killer move. She goes to sit in front of this kid, and right as like the bully's going to throw it, he like stops.
Yeah, because now there's this girl there.
There's this girl there, and the animation, because it focuses in on her eye, and it has like this little gleam of the light of her being like, now what?
Try it.
Do it. And everyone's like, okay.
Because who's gonna fuck with the Gyaru, honestly?
Yeah.
Those girls, they've got it.
And this is when we start to see too, like, Momo definitely has some popularity within her school.
Oh yeah.
Like,
she's cute.
Yeah.
She's hella cute.
And that is something that Tatsu writes about, Talks writes about, like, in one of the interviews I was going over too, is that was kind of primarily how he started. He's like, I just wanted to draw this really cute girl.
Yeah. Oh, really quick, just on the drawing thing, I love how he does eyebrows. I love the eyebrows in this series. Yeah. They're defined, they're strong, they're dark. I love it.
It's so...
Like, I'm sick of the little stick-thin eyebrows, or maybe the tiny little bit in the front of it, and then it just tapers off. Okay, that's okay and all, but I don't like it when it's the same for every single character ever.
Yeah. And
you know?
Because the eyebrows are so big, too, it helps, both in the manga and the anime, it helps cultivate the emotion, because you're able to see it a lot more in the face.
Yeah, it's more expressive.
On it, like, Tatsu, my man, you have evolved the style. Like, this is a whole new style that I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot of copycats of. But anyway, she comes in, and going into Science Saru, going into the animation too, just like the eye. This is one of the only other animes too where we see that there are actual lines in the iris.
Yes, I did like that.
So well done, so cute. Again, she sits and she's like, do it. Throw that piece of paper with a magnet in. Everyone's like, ugh, okay.
And they all just kind of turn around and go back to what they're doing.
They don't know what to do. And she picks up this nerdy kid's, like, magazine that he's reading. She's like, what you reading? Anything cool? Notices that these people are going back to what they're being like, okay, we're not gonna bully this kid any further. And she goes, bunch of losers. And goes to walk away.
Just gives him his book back and is like, okay.
She is down, so she sees an opportunity to, like, okay, I'm gonna step in right now.
Yeah.
Because obviously someone's having it a little worse than I do. That's what I gather.
I saw it as, firstly, she is just that she's a good person.
Yeah.
She's like that. And also, she just has that kind of spitfire attitude. And also, she's already kind of emotionally distraught. She's angry. You could tell that. She's, like, walking around. She's like, oh, just, like, pissed, you know? Exactly. And I think maybe it was a good way for her to outlet some of her anger as well. Because, like, later in the series, we see similar things where she's just like, oh, I just want to, like, you know, need a punching bag or something, you know? Yeah. So I think it was also that. It's like channeling it in a healthy way. I want to defend this little nerdy kid, and then, you know.
Yes. And then we get the cute little nerdy kid. She, like, walks out, and then he comes running out.
Because he's so excited.
Miss Ayase, I think I know what you're into.
I was like, what? What does he mean? And then you kind of go back and forth for a minute.
She's like, yeah. She's like, what? He's like, I think I know what you're into. She's like, yeah, I heard you.
Like, what do you mean? And he just keeps saying it. I know what you're into. But he's like super passionate about this. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's so cute. Anyway.
It's adorable.
And he starts going through his magazine, which is an occult magazine. So primarily aliens, not UFOs, UAPs.
That's right. They did technically rename them, which, whatever.
Unidentified aerial phenomenon. Anyway, and he's like going off, and and she's like, what? No, I just, and she kind of starts to explain, but he doesn't. He's like, no, you have to be into this. That's the only reason you would talk to me. And he's like pushing, and then Momo does kind of snap at him. And gets so mean.
Yeah, which I was like, girl, you were just so nice to him, and then now you're just being all pissy. Yeah, that's why for me it feels a lot more like she was just letting out her anger while, you know, helping someone else. It's for me, it's like, oh, she saw an opportunity to outlet some aggression.
Yeah.
Because of how she reacts to Okarun. Or, well, he's not Okarun in this moment, but...
We see him as Occult-kun.
Yeah.
Initially. That's how he's saved in Momo's phone.
Is he really?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Occult-kun.
I don't remember that. That's so funny.
Oh, it's just so cute. And she snaps. Because she's like, I just got dumped by my first boyfriend, and I don't need some nerdy dude, like, shoving his nerdy stuff into my face. And he's dejected. She goes to walk away. She's like...
Well, yeah, she's mean, because she told him, like, well, this is why you don't have any friends.
Yeah.
Which, that's so mean.
It's so mean.
Oh.
But she realizes how mean she... Well, like... Yeah. She does apologize. And she's like, I'm sorry. That was harsh.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't believe in aliens and stuff, but I believe in ghosts.
And then his response made me want to slap him.
It's so cute at the same time, too, though.
He's like, oh, those don't exist.
Yeah. He's like, ghosts don't exist.
And she gets pissed off again.
Yeah, she's like, what?
She's like, I'm trying to be nice to you, and now you...
Yeah, like, what kind of guy, like, says that when a cute girl's trying to relate? Like,
yeah, exactly.
I think that's literally... And this is when Unlucky Cat starts playing, which is, I love this song. It's very tango-y Spanish influence.
Very fun. Because
they're fighting back and forth. And I can't help but wonder if because there are some other points too where we get a bit more of a Spanish influence. Because Abel Gongora, he is of Spanish descent. So I can't help but wonder if that might have inspired that.
I would say probably. If it's in his heritage, maybe. Yeah. Who knows?
I hope that was kind of taken. But anyway, like, it starts playing. I just love the music. This is where I'm at my obsession. It starts playing, and it's kind of like this really fun, like, and it's them fighting, and Momo's friends see them fighting, and they're like, oh, she's so into him. And then we part of their fighting too is they're like, okay, well, you have to go to a place where UFO abductions, or no, a UAP abductions. I love it because he doesn't kind of correct himself. He's like, you have to go in a place where abductions are noted to happen. And then she's like, okay, well then you have to go to a haunted place. And whoever ends up with the evidence wins. And it's like, you have to be my gopher for a month. Which a gopher is like a runaround person. Which, it's so cute. And then we cut to, again, this is where you get Occult Kun on the phone. She doesn't even know this kid's name yet. And they're talking back and forth. Again, it's so cute. The music's perfect. We get a little bit of Momo's backstory, which she doesn't have her parents. They died at a very young age. She was raised by a grandma who's a spiritual medium, so that's why she believes in ghosts. And she gives a story, and then Occult Kun, he doesn't really go much further into that, because he's just listening and talking about, like, you know, you're just really easy to talk to. And all of that, and then boom, what happens?
Well, they simultaneously decide to go to their respective places, and they're on the phone, and then things start happening.
Things start happening.
Was it Momo first, or was it Okarun?
It was Okarun first.
It was Okarun. Oh, yeah, before going into the cave, he starts singing this little song to, like, hype himself up to go in there. I did look up that song afterwards and gave it a listen. It's just, like, a fun little song.
Oh, my gosh. I imagine it's, like, a fun, like, almost, not quite folk song.
Not really, no. It's a more, no, not recent, but, like, it's...
Okay.
A lot of the song that he sings throughout this series, I think, really show what kind of music he's into, which is pretty fun. I do like that they kind of stuck to a similar genre to the songs that he likes. It's like, okay, you know what kind of playlist he has here. And it's funny. He starts singing one of them as he's trying to get into this creepy, like, tunnel, because his place to go to is like, oh, well, you have to go to this tunnel where there's this crazy spirit thing happening.
Which... not to introduce her too soon, but everything that I've seen around Turbo Granny, or 100 kilometers per hour Granny, or Mad Dash Gran is another terminology. She's just a kind of like a folk urban legend in general. She usually is placed in a tunnel. Like, that's pretty common to see. And so he's like walking through there talking. Oh, it's so cute. And then he sees this little old lady. We get introduced to Turbo Granny, which, I love the line. I'll let you suckle my teats, boy, if you let me gobble your dong.
I remember when I heard that, I was like, what? What did she say?
And her design is, she's like decrepit. Her skin looks like she's so dehydrated.
Yeah.
And it's so dark, and she has like these big glowing eyes that they don't look at him at first. Like, they're off to the side, and then they like swivel into again, Science Saru has like motion down to a T.
Oh, absolutely.
They swivel into each other and then look directly at him. She has this big, huge mane of white hair.
She looks like a classic hag.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like the old witch hag look. That's her.
Yes. We love her. We love Turbo Gran.
Yeah. Especially just out of the bag. Yeah, let me suck your dick, kid. Like, what? What did she say? But, okay, that's another thing about this show.
Yeah.
Is that it does pervy right.
Yeah.
Because, like, one of the things that I really dislike about anime is, like, fan servicey, pervy things.
Same.
I stopped watching anime for a while because so many of the shows coming out was just so heavily into that kind of a thing, where I couldn't enjoy them. Like, even a lot of people, they were like, oh, well, just ignore it, just watch the story because the story is good. I'm like, well, why did you have to ruin it then? Why did you have to bring in all of this extra stuff? Like, I'm okay with pervy.
Okay. And that's another thing I want to bring up with this show, too. The other reason why I'm like, it's perfect. I wouldn't change a damn thing about it.
Yeah.
Even though it hits, like, very intense levels, it does it all just enough.
Yeah.
Everything is done just enough.
And I think it's framed in a different way too, because like all of the pervy things, the nudity that happens later, you know, things like that, the way it's framed is different than how it is traditionally framed in anime. Like traditionally it's like it's a lot more focused on the female, and it's like, oh no, how shameful, oh wow, you know, oh my gosh, titties, oh. But we're gonna put the camera all right up in there, you know.
Yeah.
But this show, it's more matter of fact about it.
Yes.
And it's framed so differently.
Yeah.
Where it doesn't feel fan servicey, and it doesn't feel like, oh, this is like a super pervy dude that's just gross or whatever. It's just it's just I don't know. It's like normal teenage perviness.
Okay, so we're gonna fast forward in that. Again, I'll let you suckle my teats, boy, if you let me gobble your dog. So Akil comes running away.
Yeah.
He's like, there's a little grandmother's. Momo's like, no, don't run, don't let her catch you. Like, you'll get a curse. And then Momo's like, okay, I need to go save this kid that I've sent into this terrible situation. Then she is cornered. She has these three just the most, like, off-putting, unsettling... They make... Like, Tatsu really worked on the... He's like, I want to make a very conservative, gross-looking type of guy.
Yeah, and he got it.
He got it. These three guys basically corner her. She goes to run away. They rip her clothes off. And we cut into her being chained into... She's just in her underwear. And... chained into, well, not quite chained, but she restrained in this really weird kind of dome chair. And again, this was something that Tom's like, I would kind of have trouble recommending to some people because of this particular scene, which yes, I do get at the same time, where you were saying it's like, and as I was saying, it's just enough. When I was watching this, I'm like, this is just kind of party. This, for me, feels more like, no, this is just kind of part of being a teen girl, in which, as I talked about in Perfect Blue, it's like, there are going to be gross people around you that are going to want to experiment on your body.
Yeah.
That's how I read it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Like...
Yeah, and they handled that scene so well. Like, they didn't have the stupid voice actor, like, yeah. You know, like, they didn't have all of that. No. The camera wasn't all up in her business, you know, and the focus wasn't on her being nude. Yeah. The focus was on the situation happening, which is different. Yeah. And I liked that.
And her still being her Spitfire self.
Yeah. It was so refreshing. Yeah. I was like, wait, this is nudity done correctly. Yeah. I quite like this.
Yeah, and again, she's not even fully nude.
No, she's just in her underwear.
Yeah, she's just in her It does it all just enough. It's all done just... Again, that's how I read it. It's just like, oh no, this is teen girldom. Like, you're gonna have people look at you in this way.
Yeah, like, this is like normal teenage level, not to like an extreme or anything. It's just, it's the normal amount. And it's so well done. Yeah. It was so refreshing. I was like, this is a palate cleanser.
DanDaDan. This show. Anyway, she's still her Spitfire self. She's being like, I'm going home now. Yeah. Like, let me out of this thing. She's like, where are my clothes? Her clothes are all torn up. And she's like, you guys are paying for those. Like,
yeah, come on.
And then it is this really unsettling, creepy situation where it's like, we are Sapponians. And they're kind of like, they are aliens. She's been abducted by aliens. Anyway, they're Sapponians specifically, and they're explaining like, oh, well, our species exists through cloning, which hampers our evolution, so we have to pick specifically females, so that way we can aid in our evolution. And they're like, we will have sex with you and then extract your uterus and banana organs.
I love how they call it uterus and then banana organs. Banana organs.
Banana organs.
I was like, what?
Yeah, it's like,
And he's like, what? No. She's like, I'm saving myself for a Kentaka Kurohype. I'm not going to give it to you creeps. And
yeah.
Again, it does get intense. And they're using psychokinesis. They're like, we will now use psychokinesis to arouse you. Is your body feeling warmer? Again, it's all done enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't push itself, which needs to be noted and celebrated about DanDaDan.
Yeah.
Anyway, and we do get this flashback of Momo in a scenario with her grandma talking about releasing her chi. Mm-hmm. And she's like, why am I thinking of that now? And then her kind of, like, the voice of her grandma comes in and just being like, okay, firm the muscles in your tummy. And then release your chi. And again, this animation. But this is... Before, too, sorry, we have to bring up that while they're in the midst of this, before that happens, Momo gets a call. And then it's little... And these aliens are, like, making this, like, someone with incredibly bad timing is calling, you know? They go to answer the phone, and then a Cult-kun comes through the phone.
It's like, what up?
Yeah, he's like, I'm here. But no, he's like, I'm sorry, Miss Ayase, I couldn't outrun her. Turns she was a ghost. And it's just like, again, the motion, the animation, he's obviously kind of like half himself, half monster.
Like Turbo Granny monster.
Yeah.
Like, not really the old hag that we saw before, but like a monster version of her.
Yeah.
And he's like morphing more and more into that. And it's just kind of like, whoa, what is happening?
Yeah. And we get a Cult-kun's little story of being like, I have been crying out to you all for ages. I had no friends. And then Miss Ayase was the first person to give a crap. Like, no one cared if I lived or died. Except for her. So I will not let you hurt her.
So sweet.
It's so sweet. And again, like, yeah, just, like, you've watched it. It's just the perfect kind of, like, back and forth of that. And initially... Turbo Ground Okaran, or Occult-kun, going through and gobbling all of these alien dongs. And in his speech, he's like, I'm not gonna let you hurt Miss Ayase.
I think their dongs does need to be described.
Oh, yeah.
They're not, like, real ones. They're spikes.
They're like machinery that a little panel opens up at the crotch,
and then it just like when they first said like, oh, whoa, we'll have sex with you now. It like it pulls out and it like a little machinery comes out with the tube, and then all of a sudden a little spike comes out of it, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, it does put you on it because it's like,
oh my god, no, get out.
Luckily, we know the genre. Like if you know the genre you're watching, so you're like, okay, nothing bad's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But it's still like,
it's like, oh
man. Anyway, so our little Turbo Grand Occult-kun goes around gobbling some dongs, but then he does get incapacitated. And Momo Ayase, after his little speech, being like, I won't let you hurt her. She's like, yeah, Cult-kun, kick their asses. And he gets repelled into the wall. And he's like, I'm sorry, I don't think it. She's like, you didn't even try. And then again, we go into her, like, thinking back of her grandma telling her to release her chi. And part of this, too, when they're initially on the phone, we get this story of how Momo was really mean to her grandma at first because she would make her do these rituals, and a boy that she liked was making fun of her for it. And so she's like, why am I thinking back on that? And then it's like, okay, firm up the muscles in your tummy, and now release your chi, and then poof, again, the animation.
Perfect.
It's like she bust out of this, and then it's all blue, very galaxy pretty. And the Serponians are in this whole thing, and they're like, what happened? You shouldn't be able to repel our psychokinesis. And it's like, the stress must have had her open her chakra.
what?
It's so anime, but without overdoing itself.
Yeah. And I think something can also be said culturally, just like going back a little bit to, I think it's such a common thing for people who have strong cultures or have practices and things. Growing up, like, your parents will make you do something and you go to school and you get bullied for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of people who they have to, like, their mom makes them oil their hair every day before they go to school, and then they get teased about it. They stop doing it because they hate it, and then they get mad at their parents. Classic thing that happens. Then you grow up, and then you're like, oh, actually, that was really beneficial. I'm going to start doing it again now.
Oh, 100%.
It happens with so many different people. I know so many people who had things like, I've had things like that. Like, I would get teased about the food that I would bring to school all the time. Because my mom, you know, she loved me. She would make me the little nice homemade meals, and I'd eat them at lunch, and then people would be so mean to me about my food. They'd be like, oh, it smells weird. Oh, that looks gross. Why do you eat that? And I don't know. And it was just like normal Mexican food. Now people love it. Like, I don't know what they were on about.
American kids suck.
They seriously do. But it got to the point where I was like, I didn't want to eat at school anymore, because it's like, well, I'm just gonna get teased about it. And I stopped eating like a lot of my traditional foods around other people, because I was like, well, I'm just gonna get teased about it. I'm not gonna do that. And then I got older, and then I went back to eating like the cultural foods and all of that. I'm like, this is delicious. Why did I ever stop?
Yeah.
Like, what the heck?
Because again, American kids suck.
They
People
seriously
can be
do.
terrible. I mean, we know it's throughout all cultures too. Just we're in the States.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
it's
our
like
experience.
the realization for Momo of like, oh wait, this is actually helpful from my grandma. Like,
is
yeah,
great.
it sucked before, but this is helpful.
And then she gets this surge of spiritual power. She goes to do the kick that she did to her now ex, to the Sapponian, and she literally sends him flying. She talks about like, thank you, Grandma. Thanks to this power, I can send these crepes flying. Just
And they go, wee.
yeah. Oh, she's so great. We love it.
So good.
And then it's like, oh, this whatever craft they're in, this UAP, UFO spaceship that they're in, comes crashing down. And I love, there are so many like just really clever little bits of just like that take on aliens and UFOs, because their ship is like the moon.
Yeah, wacky.
It's so wacky, but it's like, yeah, that's pretty logical. It's like their ship is up disguised as the moon. You see like this glitch in the sky, and then the ship is coming down. They crash. And then it's Momo being like, we gotta get off this thing, or we're gonna die.
Yeah.
They crash into this road. She opens up the panel of this ship. She pulls herself and Occult Kun out. Drags them away, and it's like, oh my gosh, that was so crazy. And then kind of like Occult Kun, Turbo Granny, going a bit wild. He's like, I can't help this. But then it turns out that she can suppress the curse within him. And so they work on that. And this whole little thing of talking about like, okay, this is the situation that we're in. And this kid being like, okay, I'm cursed, but I'm not going to involve you any further because this is putting you in danger. Da-da-da-da-da, all that. And she's like, no, like, this is my fault too. So I'm going to go help you get your dog back from Turbo Granny. And then, as we said before, Momo is only in her underwear. Hose have been ripped off.
Yep.
And our boy Occult Kun here, he's just taking off his clothes. And he's like, here, take this. Like, you can't go home like that. And again, Momo's like, I'm not going home. I'm going to help you.
Yeah.
And she hands back his clothes. He's like, hey, like, can you please put these on? I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to speak straight. I'm an awkward guy.
And then it's like someone shot her. She's like, what?
Yeah. Which is a Ken Takakura line. Like, I'm an awkward fellow. Seems to be the more direct translation. But in this case, we're using I'm an awkward guy. And she's like, you just happened to say one of it's like her intro dialogue. Like, he just happened to say one of Ken Takakura's line. It's like, don't think much of it. And then it gets to the point where she's like, I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names. What did you say your name is again?
And guess what?
And this is when a slice of peach comes back in with the anyway. Guess what his name is? Ken Takakura.
Yep, that's his name, guys. Ken Takakura.
Ken Takakura. And it does the perfect ending with this, like, the ship explodes behind her. Mm-hmm. The latter half of a slice of peach is playing, which again it says, and it's so perfect. The animation, it literally is fireworks.
Yeah,
it's explosion. It's fireworks for Momo, but it's an explosion of this terrible situation she was in. And then it does cut, like, with the end credits of dun dun dun. It's like dun dun dun. It does everything just enough. So. And then we go into the next episode where she is dying. Mm-hmm. And she's like on the ground, just being like, no, I can't hear it. And then poor Ken, is just like, Miss Aya, say the curse. And it is done really well in the manga to anime, like transfer that is scene for scene, like cha cha cha, of her freaking out, being like, no, while suppressing the curse again. She throws poor Ken up against a wall. And he's like, oh, much better, thank you. Like, passed against this wall. And then it does cut to where she's like, you will never say that name again. New rule. You are not allowed to say that name.
And he's like, but that's my name.
Poor boy. And then she gives him the name Okarun, which from reading of the translation, it's occulty.
Yeah.
Basically is what it means.
Occult-kun, Okarun. Yeah.
Which brings us to our second drink.
Yes.
The Ken Takakura, aka Okarun. Which our ice has melted a bit, which honestly may be for the best on this. Because my understanding is this is kind of more of a traditional way that some whiskey is served.
It's like melted?
Well, you want it more watered down so it's not as harsh on the tongue.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So we have Suntory whiskey. And some people might be like, you did what with Suntory? But I've done a little bit of a play of an old-fashioned here. You're going to rim your glass in a tritone with one side is cherry and the other side is green apple Pop Rocks. So we got our green apple. It's a little occulty. It's a little alien. And then the red represents the Turbo Granny Curse, kind of this dual personality we get into. You're just going to put your Suntory or whatever whiskey you would like just on the rocks in there. And then you can't have a cocktail without a little snack in there. There's a little green apple slice and a maraschino cherry.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited for this too. I've been wanting to try a Suntory for a while, which again, some people might be like...
Your glass choice? Also perfection.
They're a very funky glass. It like has a lot of ripples in it.
Honestly, it's like the glass as a whole fits the show so well. Just the drink and everything. It's colorful. It's funky. It's just... I'm excited.
There's traditionalism in here too.
Oh,
this show does get into a lot of traditional Japanese things as well. But
yeah, well, it's all about occult Japanese urban myths and like shrine stuff, wards, things like that. Yeah. So I'm so pumped.
Oh my god.
Okay, let's try this.
This is my first time trying Suntory too, so I'm excited.
Okay, let's do it. That's super smooth.
That's smooth. Yeah, I'm glad really that the ice did melt actually. Because an old-fashioned is traditionally like a muddling of bitters and a bit of sugar, like you kind of muddle that down. And then you have your ice with the whiskey on top. And I didn't do the muddling or the bitters because, again, I wanted the Suntory to be just come through, be very almost like
Yeah.
fresh and palatable. And because we have Pop Rocks,
I don't know if you can hear it.
I don't think sugar would have done. Let's see if we can. Maybe.
I can hear it in my head, but I don't know.
You can probably hear my swallowing. Oh. Let me see if I can.
Oh, there you go. That was a good one.
I just had to bite on it. Ah. This is an ASMR nightmare.
We're both just like open mouth to our microphone.
But on the Suntory itself is so good.
Oh yeah. It's really mild flavor. I'm normally not a whiskey person, but this is like really mild flavor.
So Suntory specifically, and I was telling Kaneki a little bit about this earlier too. When import-export started to become, like, after the Endo period and Japan was opening up to foreign, like, import, all of that, actually allowing people to come into the country, as whiskey was brought in, it was very unpopular because it is such a harsh flavor. So Suntory specifically is a type of Japanese whiskey brewed to be more palatable to the Japanese palate. So that's part of why it is so smooth. It's not as harsh and doesn't have as much of a bite as traditional whiskey.
I really like that.
This
is really good.
Fun.
This is fun. And I love the little sour because I'm drinking from the half that has the green apple Pop Rocks. Delicious.
Oh yeah, I can hear the Pop Rocks in my head. I want to try that.
I'm gonna
But
try
it's fun because you can have a little sour bit and then you can have a little more sweet bit.
Oh, I'm gonna try the red. Ooh. That's good.
This is fun. And then we got a little, I can't wait to eat this little apple that's been soaking.
I'm excited for the cherry.
I bought honestly, they were kind of expensive cherries, but I like a good maraschino cherry.
I love maraschino cherries.
I do too.
So good.
Oh
I'm
my
excited
gosh.
for these. I just realized I haven't eaten today. I have an empty stomach. Oh no. I'm gonna slow down a little bit. Oh no.
But damn, that is good.
That is good. And I'm not a whiskey person. Oh, I heard that one. That was a good one.
ASMR night. We're gonna have to put a big disclaimer at the beginning.
ASMR warning, guys.
Yeah. Before. Oh my gosh, that was fun.
This
honestly,
is good.
I was gonna do a type of apple teeny because I wanted the green alien, but I'm like, no, I can do something better. I'm excited to share this, and
yeah. Which is your
hopefully you all
favorite?
enjoy.
Now that we've done all three, which one's your favorite?
I really do like the Ken Takakura, aka Okaron. This is fun.
It's fun. It's different.
I'm a whiskey person too.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like this.
Yeah,
This is good.
this is good. Dangerously good.
It's dangerously good.
And again, even though I was like, oh, our ice is kind of melted, I'm glad it watered down like that. And
Yeah.
from my understanding, that's a bit more of a traditional serving of it. Your ice would still be in there, but a bit more watered down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my favorite... I think it might be either Miss ISA's Blue Spirit Hands or the peach sake.
The peach sake is good. It's
really good. I love sake.
Yeah.
Delicious. So good. I had a plum wine with sake a little bit ago, and it was warm. It was delicious.
So good.
I'm a big sake fan now, so I do.
After you told me about that, I did order it at a restaurant not too long ago, and it was
What you
very
think?
good.
Right, I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
was it warmed up for you too?
Yes, it was warm. Yeah.
It's so good. I thought it was
So
good.
good.
I've been really liking hot drinks. Like when we went out bar hopping around like it was Halloween weekend, right? Okay, I got the they called it like a Mexican hot chocolate drink.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I love Mexican hot chocolate. I have that all the time. That sounds good. And it had like a bunch of names that I did, because I'm really new to drinking. I didn't grow up around anyone that drink at all, because, you know, grew up really religious, blah, blah, blah. I knew nothing. I know very little about alcohol and all of that. And so when we went out, I was reading this little menu, and I thought, oh, all of these, because it was like a long list of a bunch of different names. And I was like, oh, these are probably flavorings, because I didn't recognize all of them. And I order it, and the guy behind the counter, he's like, okay. He starts putting in shot after shot of all of these different alcohols and liquors, and I'm like, oh man. Oh no.
What's gonna happen?
I'm like, oh man. And then he takes it to the back, and then he puts in, I think it was like hot caramel, and then the chocolate. And it was super good. Yeah. It was super strong. Yeah. Like, I could really taste it. I was like, whoo. But it was really good. Did I have you try it? I think
so, yeah. I remember this drink.
Yeah. It was hot. Like, really hot. But it was a cold night.
Yeah.
So it was perfect.
Yeah. I love hot drinks on a cold night type of.
Oh, so good.
A toddy. So good. I will always love a toddy.
It was like nice and hot and warm. It just warmed me, and it also got me very drunk. So
yeah,
that's part of a lot of alcohol in there.
Why I like whiskey. I'm not sure if you can feel. I've been sipping on my Ken Takakura, aka
I'm feeling it already. Yeah,
I'm like warms you up. We'll eat here soon, so we don't die.
So we don't just like pass out.
Again, we will have fun, and we will have fun even if it kills us. How does it taste?
Apparently, I'm pretty sure I got alcohol poisoning on New Year's.
No.
I'm pretty sure because my friend told me, like, I turned yellow. Like, yellow. Like, I looked yellow head to toe. Yellow.
Kaneki is fine now, everyone.
I'm fine now.
Yeah.
I look normal now. Maybe a little red, because I do tend to get a little flushed when I drink, but... Yeah. Like, New Year's, I was new to drinking. I didn't realize how much I had been drinking. I'd never had in Long Island before. I didn't know that they have so much alcohol in them.
So many people are going to be like, oh, Kaneki, I feel you. Oh, poor Kaneki. They're going to, like, sigh and, like, oh, same.
I didn't know, guys. I was young. I was innocent. I didn't know. And so I think I had like 2 or 3 Long Islands and then 2 Cosmopolitans on top of that. And oh my god, I blacked out at one point, which has never happened to me before. And then I woke up with a hangover. I've never had a hangover before.
Yeah, blackout drunk's not great. That's what's going to happen to Momo, and we're really trying that not to happen to her.
Yeah. I'm like, oh man. I'm fine now.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Kaneki's fine. Kaneki's alive.
Yeah.
Well.
Alive and
moderation, and or if you're an alcoholic, just don't do it.
Yeah.
I get the feeling, but just don't do it.
Don't do it, guys. It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Trust me.
Yeah.
I went to a mental health center that it was a mental health / addict recovery center. So I got to meet a lot of people that were like alcoholics, that were drug addicts, and got to hear a lot about their stories and everything. Don't do it, guys.
Don't do it.
If you have a problem, get some help. There's no shame in it.
No.
Absolutely none.
Not at all.
It's okay. It's not your fault, honestly, because a lot of these things, a lot of it has a mental health base. What I was told in the center by the psychiatrist and psychologist there's a lot of people in the mental health center that will have, they don't have any drug or alcohol problems. Every single person that has a drug or alcohol problem, they have mental health problems. So it's not your fault.
No.
It is not your fault.
It's not your fault.
Absolutely not.
No.
Not to like totally go into that emotional side of things.
No.
But please do get help, you know?
Yeah.
If that's an issue, it's not your fault. Don't feel shame about it.
Okay. I do want to kind of take this now as an opportunity. Sorry, not to be like, let's talk about Kiki now.
No.
I'm not trying to do that. But as I said before, I had the realization the other day, and it was I'm a Momo.
Hi, Miss Ayase.
I am... Well, what's funny is people call me Miss Kiki.
Mm-hmm.
Or quite a few people have in the past, so kind of in a sense.
That's so cute.
No, yeah, like, I am a Momo. And I do want to get a little bit into that here. Again, not to, like, jump too far into anything episodic we may be doing. Mm-hmm. But as I said, I am a Momo, and it's not in a cute way. Now, I have to preface it saying this, that she hasn't done this in several years, but a grandma who smokes in front of you is a vibe. It creates a certain type of person.
Yeah.
Which I am. So that was the first thing that I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm a bit of a Momo. And again, this is what inspired, like, a Red Bull with vodka, a little shot on the side. It was going to be a White Claw, but the peach sake it does fit perfectly. It fits perfectly for everything.
It's perfect.
It tastes really good in with the Ken Takakura too.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Anyway. But yeah, I'm a bit of a Momo. As we further get along and see Momo's character, part of that is feelings are difficult because you only know affection from being teased.
Yeah.
And then poor Ken is so subjected to that.
Yeah. Momo is such a teaser. She is a huge teaser.
So again, you know affection through teasing, so you think it's okay to do to other people.
Yeah.
That is very, especially teenage me. So a bit of a Momo there. And two, going back into Gyaru, and we talked about this a little bit, and I would love you to talk further. As we get further along into the series, Momo is kind of dissed from some people, especially Turbo Granny. Like, there's a point where she calls her a tacky little bitch.
Yeah.
And a chippy, which if you don't know, that is American slang for a sex worker.
Is that what that means? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And another thing, too, not to totally tie back into my grandma, but as we get introduced to Momo's grandma, Seko, which my second favorite song is Seko's song. Seko's song is the best. But anyway, I do have a grandma who strives for traditionalism, but is incredibly untraditional. You can see how that affects Momo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I had that realization. I'm like, oh, I'm a Momo.
Not in a good way.
Oh, I get this character so much. But anyway, going into that and Gyaru, how it's interpreted, if you would so please, Kaneki, if you would please.
Well, a lot of Gyaru, just with, like, personality type, like I mentioned before, tend to be very strong personalities, very spitfire. I am generalizing here. Not all Gyarus are like this. Yeah. But with the Gyaru, the whole point of Gyaru is it's a feminist counterculture to how you're quote-unquote supposed to be in Japanese culture, which is fit the mold. There's the whole saying of the nail that sticks out will be hammered down. And Gyaru is, no, I'm going to be the nail that sticks out, and you're not going to hammer me down. I'm going to hammer you down. Yeah. Because screw you.
Yeah.
It's, oh, you want me to be super pale, and you want me to have this really tame fashion and whatever. No, we're not doing that. You want me to talk in a very prim, proper way? No, absolutely not. I'm gonna come up with slang. I'm gonna swear. I'm gonna be all these other things. Cause screw you. I'm not gonna be hammered down.
We're not doing that.
You tell him. And I love Gyaru for that. It is just it's a big fuck you to how extremist the society in Japan can be to conforming and being a very specific stifled version of yourself. And it's great. I love Gyaru culture for that. There is this TikToker that I quite enjoy watching, and I'm so sorry, I don't remember what her name is. Maybe we can add it in the editing. But she came to the States to study abroad, And she, in a lot of her TikToks, she talks about how she's felt more at home in the States than she ever did in Japan, because her personality did not fit in with the culture that is expected of young women in Japan, where she is, I guess, more of a loud personality. And that's not really what people want or look for or expect of when you're in Japan. And so when she went back to Japan, she's, you know, started struggling a little with her mental health. And she's like, you know, I love America because, yeah, America has its problems. Yeah. But we do have a huge culture of you be you. Yeah. Be yourself.
Be yourself. Be authentic.
Yourself. And that is your right. You can be loud. You can be quiet. You can be timid. Or you can be a huge extrovert or anything in between or outside of that. Individuality is such an enormous thing in America, and I know we diss a lot on the US because we do have a lot of problems, but we do have a really big acceptance of individuality here, and I love that.
I do too. And again, that does play into where I'm like, oh no, I'm a Momo. I feel Momo. It is part of the societal pressure that has been pushed on you, and you counterculturing that, being like, no thank you. She does still have things within her family life that created her to be this way. And with that too, I know I already have, and there might be times that I say things that are really brash, or they feel mean, or it's like, Kiki, what the fuck is wrong with you? But it does come from, like, I was kind of made to be this way based off of the culture around me trying to suppress me and having to counter that. And then also just with my own family life. Like, I didn't necessarily, how do I put this? Like, I didn't necessarily choose my path to be this way. I chose to be this way. But I understand what made me this way. And I can be proud of it. I can be proud of being a bit white trashy, being a bit chola.
Own it. Love it. Own it.
Like, and this is, and too, like, in the fashion, the way that she presents herself, I have definitely at times had people try to be like, why are you wearing something so short? Like, such a short skirt, or such shorts. Like, I was telling Kaneki the other day, I did have an interaction where, and I was wearing, like, traditional Indian garb, but I had my shorts underneath it, because Tom, for his work, he traveled to India. He'll usually bring back, you know, cute little things from there. Anyway, I was wearing a top that was traditional Indian garb, which, to my thighs, not short, but I'm pretty confident I had a lady, I just had my headphones, and I'm like, you get to a point where you just have to ignore it. And it's also been so long that it happened that I was kind of like, I don't know if that's what actually happened, but I'm pretty confident that I had a lady try to tell me, like, I hope you have something underneath that.
Which, that's insane.
It was to my mid-thigh.
I've seen you in this dress before.
Yeah.
It is not that short.
Yeah. So it's like, I am very aware that because of my background and at times because of how I present myself, people find me trashy. I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care.
Why should we care? That's another thing. Why should we care?
Why should we care?
Why should we?
Anyway.
Yeah.
So that's going into my whole little, like, oh, I'm a Momo, but at the same time, I'm a Momo. Like,
hell yeah.
Like, no. Yeah, the realization was, oh, I'm a Momo. But it's like, no, I feel for this girl. I understand where she's coming from. Like, I get what it takes in order to have to make someone be so passionate about their counterculturism and the importance of expressing that, too.
Absolutely.
Which we love.
We love.
Love.
I'm so happy just to see the Gyaru representation. There's so many different things about the show, which is why I say it's innovative. Yeah. And that was one of the words that I chose in the beginning. Because firstly, art style, poppy, strong eyebrows. And then character-wise, strong personalities. But, like, truly strong. Like, we see other girl personalities in anime where, like, yeah, they're a little strongish, they're a little combative or whatever. But I don't know, everything about Momo is just, she is a strong person. And I love that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can hear my bracelet.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Clinking around. I'm passionate about
great.
this.
Yeah, no, we're passionate. Like, we love it.
We love it. We love
it.
Oh, so good. It's so good, guys. Watch it if you haven't already.
Watch it. I really do hope that it's like people, because this is where I'm at. And again, this is part of the creation of this podcast is just like, I want to talk about anime in a sad girl vibe. But also it's like there are so many things that I love. And don't get me wrong, I do like online discourse.
Yeah.
And looking through things, it's different when you're hearing two people talk about something like this.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't find it in the point of frame and view that I wanted it. So we wanted to create it.
It's like, okay, let's record our own thing.
Let's do our own thing. And so we do hope that this, like, itches that scratch that I know I'm having.
Yeah. No, same.
Yeah.
Like, I stopped listening to podcasts because honestly, all of the female podcasters, almost all of them are kind of in the true crime sphere, which is fun.
Yeah.
I love like, and that's how we drink. I love My Favorite Murder. Like, I love those podcasts. Yeah. They're great. Love them.
Yeah.
But for my other hobbies, I don't really see any women doing this kind of, especially in the anime world.
Yeah.
Like, if you look up like the top biggest anime podcasts, it's all men. Maybe they'll have like one gal in there, but it's mostly all men. No,
we're not disrespecting.
No,
yeah.
Love them. You know, they're doing their thing. Love that. But just like what I was looking for, I couldn't find that. You know?
Yeah. And not to be, as someone who, again, I am a Momo, and when you are a Momo, you have a bit of self-hatred, and part of that is, and you do see that to where she has some embarrassments of the things around her. I hate listening to myself. I actually really like listening to us. I feel so dorky, like, admitting that, but it's like, no, this is what I've been looking for within of like, I've become so obsessed with this thing, like, I just want to hear someone talk about it.
Yeah.
Further, and again, like, the female sphere, and I think this is the perfect episode to bring that up, because this is our first shonen that we're doing.
Yeah.
Like, again, it doesn't feel like it, because we do start with a female protagonist, and her story follows through a lot of it. But, DanDaDan.
Love it.
We love it. So fun. We hope that you all are having fun here too.
Yeah. Hopefully you guys went out and made your own little drinky drink to have with us.
To try it.
Yeah. So fun. Honestly, the Kentakakura one, I would say if you're already like a well-seasoned alcohol fan, go with that one.
Yeah.
Might be a little much for someone that's that's still pretty new to it. I can see myself not liking this drink when I first got turned of age, turned of age. Like, it was forced upon me.
Yeah. Well, kind of.
Like, that's true. I can't really stop time, but but I would say more of like a seasoned drinker in my opinion. And then the Miss ISA with the blue spirit hands, fantastic if you're like a new drinker.
Yeah.
Delicious, good, mild, and then the sake, it's just good for everybody, I would say.
Yeah,
it's really good. The peach sake is just it was really good.
Yeah,
right temperature, good flavor. It's smooth. It's not too strong. Not too it's not like nothing. Yeah, it's just good.
We love it, and I do have to bring up too for the Kentakakura, you may have to go to your little local candy shop. Like, towards the end there, that does play into...
Oh, yeah.
There is talk of that. But yeah, I had to go to my little local candy shop that's been ran by the same guy for ages.
That's so sweet.
To get a bunch of Pop Rocks for it. And it does help. Yeah, don't try to do the actual spirit itself in the style of an old-fashioned. Because it gives you that factor of it, but a fun little twist.
Yeah, it's just so fun. I think
it just perfectly introduces
You did amazing.
Character.
Thank you, Kiki.
Thank you, Kaneki.
I appreciate this.
I appreciate you. Oh my gosh, I love it. And oh my goodness, we've been recording for a while now.
How long is that now? 2 hours?
close, an hour 50.
Oh. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong numbers.
Yeah.
Guys, recording programs are so complicated.
They are.
And that sounds like oh, tiny me girl's tiny brain can't understand complicated things. Ooh, woo. You know, like.
Sad girl. Oh,
but like
my gosh.
for real, like.
Yeah.
I feel like the UI just has a million different things on it, and I'm just like, what is happening?
Yeah. I wanted that first intro to the, like, everything to be a bit quicker, but it wasn't, and it's great.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'm feeling pretty good, but Kaneki, do you need a little break at all or anything? A little snacky snack? Or...
Maybe a snacky snack would be good.
You haven't eaten anything.
I haven't eaten anything today.
Yeah. Well,
I finished the sake, and I've had a good chunk of Miss Ayase. Yeah. I've had a little bit of Kentucky, so I'm like, oh my.
Oh my.
I've been drinking my coffee on the side too, so I'm feeling okay right now, but if I want to continue, I'm definitely gonna need something. We'll see.
We'll see what happens. Again, we're here to have fun today.
Yes.
But first, we need a snack.
We need a snack. A little snacky snack.
Thank you again so much to anyone who had their hands in, was involved, did anything for this wonderful show, DanDaDan. Thank you again so much for listening. We genuinely hope that you enjoyed. If you did, you can find more of us at sadgirlsandanime.com. Our socials are Blue Sky and Instagram as Sad Girls and Anime Podcast. We're also on Reddit, Sad Girls and Anime Pod. Thanks again for crying with us.